What's up? All right. I probably missed 100 things, but we are doing this beautiful matte finish M4 in blue. It looks really good. I'm excited to do this one. So we are going to be doing 35% on all the sides and the rear, and then we're going to do... that's what I forgot. We're also going to do... 70 on the windshield. There we go. Mic's all set. And I'm running behind. Everything was good, and everything's still good. It just got, like, way busy. So I was going to start this, like, a little bit ago, and then my phone was, like, crazy busy. And then I had to do the setup. So I'm just catching up. So we're going to jump right into this one. You think you have time, and then you don't have time. TJ, what's up? Dylan, T-Town, KP, Carlos. How you guys doing? Good. Things are good. Is the slip solution Geo came out with the same thing as Fusion All-Type? No. No. No, and the way that you can tell is you literally just look at the bottle and you tilt it. One's going to look thicker, the other one's going to look thinner. Not the same. They're going to, like, serve the same functions. The thing about Geo's slip solution is dealing with their sticky ass adhesives. That's the point. So, but yeah, that question is going to be like, why another slip solution? We already have a handful of them. Why do we need more? Because nobody ever wants to fix my problems, so we fix them ourselves. Would 20% ceramic tint on the front windshield make it more difficult to see out of at night, or would it be visible still as 35? No, 20% is definitely going to be harder to see out of. Tint works the same both ways. It's unfortunately not magical. There it is. So the way that you see tint through the glass is the way that, like, it, same on the outside, same on the inside. So why does the inside look darker? Is because all your light sources are on the outside, and it's far brighter. It's like taking a camera, leaving it indoors, and then you see outside, and the outside looks all blown out and, like, super bright. That's what's always going on. The inside of the car is darker than the outside. So 35% is still pretty comfortable. 20%, I wouldn't put 20%. Just because, like, it's not, daytime will be fine. It's when you get into those, oh, it's really rainy and cars are kicking up lots of water and, oh, it's hard to see, and then you have to make that split-second decision. That's where it's really going to be a bummer. So be safe. 35 looks great, though. My friend has 35 ceramic on his windshield. It's no problem seeing out of, so I was thinking about doing 20. Yeah, I get that. I still don't recommend it. I only go as dark as 35, personally. Is the car wrapped? See, this is what's cool. Yes, but no. So this is what the factory paint looks like. They order it with the matte finish. And then they put a matte finish PPF on top of it. So they're like, we didn't need to order the matte finish because apparently the PPF can do the exact same thing, but we know in our hearts that it's matte finish paint with matte finish PPF on top. So they went above and beyond on this one. It's pretty friggin' cool. Yeah, now that you mentioned the rain part, I'd rather keep it safe. Yeah, so it's always about those split-second decisions and stuff. So for the most part, like, you could drive with 5% during broad daylight, no problem. Like, I do it on windshield strips all the time. 5 on a good film really isn't that bad. But, yeah, when it gets nighttime, when it gets rainy, rough conditions, if you had a pair of sunglasses on, you can take them off. When your windshield is tinted, you can't just rip that off in a split second. So you're dealing with some other problems there. Okay, so we're going to dive into this thing. Look at that blue. Oh, this is cool. You know, one thing, though. So PPF usually only covers up to here. I don't know, and I don't think they also wrap the inner. So this is where you would really tell. This is a matte finish in here, matte finish on the exterior. Let me move my mic. Pretty freaking cool. I have 20 on my windshield. Not gonna lie, it's a little iffy. Yeah, I can imagine some of you guys. And then you got like guys in the Facebook group that are like, limo gang, got it on the windshield. Don't do it. Don't do it. All right. So, frameless doors. Pretty straightforward quarters. I pulled the brake light on the rear window too, just because that gets in the way. So that's all ready to go. So once we do all the sides and the rear, then we'll jump and do the windshield. 35 going on this. Let's grab that. Did I pull it? Did I pull it down already? I think so. Pro Nano, Pro Classic. That is not. I have too many rolls. Ah, here it is. Looks like BMW Factory Frozen Blue. Is that what they call it? Because it is. It is the matte finish. Wrapped in matte finish PPF, actually. It's double. It's double the goodness. Do these have the annoying dots on the doors? Yeah, but in a little bit of a different style. So these are more in line with what you see on a back window. Like, they're so dense. Where some of them are a little wider. I'm making sure that we are on new. Always pre-recorded. Pre-recorded. Get out of here. Thumbnail is a RAM. What? Shut up. Yeah, if only I could pre-record everything that I do. No, it's a BMW. It was a RAM in the last one. I wanted to make sure that it wasn't, though. Do that 15 on the 4s. Yeah, everybody's got personal preferences. Did you wet the floor for dust? No, that was actually, I swapped out, I just refreshed my tank. So all what was sitting in over the weekend settles. And I refilled the tank, so just running out all the lines It shows there's a RAM on my side. Oh, that's so annoying. M4 competition RAM. Yes, this is the new RAM, guys. Looks they went with a slightly different design. There's also a slight amount of copyright infringement on this one. Just slight though. But it's still all-wheel drive. I'm gonna tint my car today using your tools. Nice. Came up as a RAM for me too. Dang. Oh, that's so annoying. Wonder if I can fix it. Yeah, see if you scroll down here to the thumbnail, change desktop, and then we go to this one, click open, click save. Maybe it'll do it. We'll see. I was all set. Had this pulled in. I only had a couple small things to do. I was just cleaning up a few things before I went live. And then my phone was just like super busy for like an hour. I should probably pull this. No, I could probably round that out. I can't find where you're located. Sterling Heights, Michigan. So you can search Detroit Tint Studio. Should have it in the description too, like a link to the site. But YouTube made the descriptions a little more confusing to get to now. Kind of annoying that way. Is it going to be that much? Damn. No problem, dude. US cutter? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not as familiar with like US cutter, but they have some different ones. Plotter Depot, that's always, I can recommend those because they have the workhorse ones. So as long as you just make sure that you're getting the right one, then you'll be good. What do you think about shaving the edge? I think it's cool. I think it's overblown. But yeah, there's reasons why it's really, really nice for sure. Like it becomes such a it becomes such like a pissing match amongst tinters because I guess they run out of things to compete about online. Is the best plotter the most expensive plotter? Yeah and no. So there's still reasons to buy. There's still reasons to buy a Graphtec or a Roland. They have features that are really, really nice. How much of a round we got up here? Let's check this out. Gonna recut that. Yeah, it's a little wavy. Let me recut that one. Match this sucker up. Okay, so the few features on a Graphtec, it's a one-button setup process. So you still have to move the side rollers to the edge of the film. So if you're going from a 24 to a 36, you got to adjust the side roller. But when you click Setup, what it does is it spits a little film out, and the cut head goes back and forth to find where the edges of the film are, and then it automatically goes to the origin point. Where something like this, I have to manually put the plotter head over and click origin for that. Also, these are not, the rollers are not in the right position for every roll. So you like put a 24 over on this side, and then you put a 36 kind of like over here, and then you put a 20 like over here, you put a 40 like back over, and like you're constantly adjusting the rollers. Where a Graphtec has like one long roller on the right side, and then everything else is like that long roller on the bottom accommodates for the rest of it. So there's a lot less. You're only moving the left roller. You're not messing around with more than that. Is Geo Apex worth it? I'm still on Pro Nano, but there's reasons to get Apex. They're about to do a total update on the line, though, on the whole lineup. So I'd probably wait just a little bit longer. Yeah, there we go. That's better. Windshield on this one? Yes, we're doing a windshield. Hey! Slow winter? Yeah, times of it have been really slow, but I also was gone for like 6 weeks. So I anticipated a slowdown because that always happens. But when I came back, it definitely stayed slow. It's starting to pick back up a lot more now. I just booked 3 jobs this morning. Like, people like to call all at the same time. Kind of funny how that works. Super chat, Hans. Hans with the 5. Oh, yeah. Of course, ceramic. This is Hans's car, by the way. Yeah, so, I mean, there's always a lull in the wintertime. It just slows down. So, like, if you were super busy You maybe lost a little bit of work from normal, you know, when it comes down to wintertime. But if you stay ahead of your marketing and stuff, there's things that you can do to at least help keep things busy. But the thing is, too, it's just kind of hard to buy a car right now. Because what used to be a lower payment is now a lot higher depending on the type of interest rates that you're getting. So inventory is now starting to catch back up. So we'll see that, I don't know, depends on like the types of specials that automakers can run and what kind of like deals, like, because they always do stuff to try and bolster sales when things get really tight. So I think especially right now, you know, people are getting tax rebates and stuff. I think you're going to see generally an influx. When's the last time you took time off for vacation? I also took like a week-ish off in the summertime. We went down to, or it was May, we went down to Florida. That was fun. So, yeah, I'm not shy about taking some time off, but the big trip in the winter, that was a long time coming. Because we were stuck in the U.S. for quite a few years, so we were able to head back to the Philippines so my wife could see her family. And since it's a lot to get over there, we took off a lot of time. Did you see any gators? In Florida? No. In New Orleans, it's been hot the entire year. I'm supposed to go down there probably when it's at its hottest. Shield is doing a flat glass thing in June? Yeah, June, like second or third. I think over a weekend. How many days are you open and what are your hours? I am open from Monday through Saturday, 10 to 5. Depends on sorry, I'm listening to a phone call too. Yeah, it just depends on how busy it gets. I'll work as late as 5, but you know, if I don't have an appointment, we'll shoot videos and stuff and just kind of until we wrap that up. Like these past couple of weeks, we've been focusing a lot on short form. So that's been fun. I suppose, let me throw a little dealy daily there. Not expecting much dirt off of this one. It's kind of new. It's a little bit though. Yeah, my hours have always been flexible. So when I opened, like, I didn't want to shop at first because I always thought you had to be there for like the hours that you're open, but you don't. You can lock the door. You have a sign on the door says the call. This is not a very walk-in friendly place too. So like we never even expect anybody to walk in the door without an appointment. So everything's appointment based here. And if I don't have an appointment, I can go do other stuff. All right, let's go. If I had to walk in and I didn't have an appointment, would you take them? Yeah, if they're here, no problem. If they call and say they can be here in an hour, depends on the day. If I'm literally like, I have nothing that I'm in the middle of, what I've noticed is I have, you know, so let's say it's like 10 in the morning, you get that phone call. Oh, is there any way I could come in today? Yeah, no problem. Come in at 12 o'clock. Okay, cool. I'll be there. And then I end up putting off other stuff that I'm like, well, I could do this, do that. And it's like, oh, I got an appointment now. I guess I'll do that instead. And then I'm like, I start waiting around for that appointment to show up. And then I've had it where they just don't show up. And it's like, it sounded like a for sure thing. What the hell happened? You call and they don't answer the phone and they just ruined your day. So I've gotten in the habit of declining a lot of that, just because I will usually have something else that I can do. So the person that will even be able to wait till tomorrow is a vastly different customer than one that needs it done immediately. What POS system do you use? I've just used Zettle. Zettle's been great. I get like the money, by next day? But I haven't really looked into many of the other ones. I was just kind of like looking for an easy system. They all should be pretty competitive, so whether you use like probably the popular ones like Square, Clover, Stripe. I think at the time they just had like really competitive rates. So that's what I ended up going with. Looking good. Nice. But I use Tint for all my invoicing. So you run the card on a system, but as far as like keeping records and you know, what did we do on the vehicle, sending proposals, that type of stuff, I do all that with Tint. Do you ever shave on the inside? No, I'm actually not great at that. I've always wondered if it's because I make my slip a little bit more soapy. So I just try and cut a really clean edge, and then I just make it like real friggin' close. But I can do like a little bit if I need to. They have the spot for the deposit. Who does? Tint Wiz? If it's Tint Wiz, oh. Shut up. Tint Wiz has a spot for deposits? Oh, here we go. I'm about to, dude, everybody that takes deposits, I'm about to, okay, I gotta check out the integration first, but, oh my God. Yep. So, I have to take a minute to look at it, but let me explain why I love deposits so much. Yes, it confirms that a client is coming in to get the job and committed to like, oh yeah, I'm gonna bring it to you. I don't need to look anywhere else. I'm serious about getting the work done. That's literally what the main purpose of it's for. But what I discovered about deposits is it's also a really handy way of getting somebody on your schedule while you're still doing what you're doing. So I can answer a phone call, and all I do is I send them a text message, and I say, thank you for scheduling your appointment for blah, 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 blah. Here's a link to leave your deposit. They click on that link, takes them to a page, and then they click on the date, the time that we discussed, and then they pay a deposit, and then it automatically puts them on my calendar with their time slot. So I didn't have to take down a phone number. I didn't have to take down an email. I just sent them a text message. And if they don't leave a deposit, they don't take a spot on my schedule. If they do leave a deposit, boom, there they are. So I can continue to work and not have to like try and write stuff down. I just shoot them a text. So with Tint Wiz, what I've done is like a Zapier integration. So I can import people off of my schedule into Tint Wiz for like invoices and stuff. But they've always needed to do some sort of deposit. So I got to see the way that they integrated it, but woo, I'm excited. Properly shaved is more secure than a micro. Oh my God, you guys. I see what you mean, but yeah, both of them can be wrong. Thanks, T-Town. I'll look at it. How big is your shop? 3,300 square feet. I'm just not comfortable with shaving either. Yeah, I've just always kind of sucked at it. What's the nicest car you have tinted? This one. I had a day where I did, it was a pretty cool day. I did a McLaren and a DBS back to back. That was a cool day. But I'll tell you what, I've never tinted a Lambo. I've tinted and more Porsche Panameras than any other type of Porsche. Lots of Audis, lots of Mercedes, lots of BMW, and that's kind of like the main thing. So I get like, I don't get like high-end supercars, but I get a lot of underneath that, and some of my favorite stuff, to be honest, is a Malibu. I could do Malibus all day long. It's straightforward. I'll charge the same amount of Malibu as I do this car. And it's just, I know what I'm getting into. And I can do them faster. So you know, there's just those days. Whenever I get into something like this, it's super cool to get cars like this. It definitely puts your nerves up a little bit more because there's a little bit more expectation on something like this. I don't want to let anybody down. They spent way more on having this thing stealth wrapped in PPF or matte wrapped. I don't know. Do they call it stealth? I think they call it stealth. What was that? There's probably like 3 Lambos in Michigan, so no, there's a shop that's about, I don't know, they're in Troy. Oh, they get high-end cars all day long. They're like in my backyard. They're here. They're definitely here. It takes a certain type of person and business to really attract that kind of clientele. I think one of them is just up your prices. 2 is probably a bit of networking. And 3 is just adding a couple more services that really encompasses everything. I think, like, because for a lot of those cars, when you have somebody looking, you know, with a car like that, looking to do, like this, they brought it to me to do the tint. But they have come to appreciate the channel and what I do here, but just a guy throwing around a lot of money with a nice car, like, it's inconvenient to now schedule. I got to schedule here. I got to take it here. It's like I just want somebody to do everything. I got all the money to throw at you. Just get it done. Thanks. So, if you're like a Chicago Auto Pros, window tint is just kind of like one of the expected things that you do, and then you do paint correction, full PPF, ceramic coating, and you have like a small army to do it all. That seems to be the style, or a high-end detailing shop. That attracts a lot of that too. I used to think about the city I live in when I worked at a higher-end shop. Saw crazy cats every day. Yeah. Why a square squeegee versus a cropped? So, because they don't make this material on anything but the hybrid. See that? You see that? Ugh, I love this. This is not an Orange Crush. It might have the hardness of one, but it definitely is not the same material. No, everybody sees the M4 now instead. Good. How much would I have to pay to wrap it? You don't want me to wrap it. That's not my skill set. I'll tint the hell out of it, but I'm not going to do a good job wrapping it. Yeah, this is not an Orange Crush. This is a hybrid. Material's way better. probably a little long, if anything. Cool. Fusion Hybrid was molded from processed unicorns. Well, they've had to grind up quite a few of them since we've brought them on. A lot of people have been picking it up now. It's a good blade. Like the flat out. I really like the flat out. Then I switched to Geo, and in the wintertime, I just saw more scratches here and there. And then, so I tried out the Orange Crush. I like the Orange Crush. You get about a good month out of it before it starts leaving little Orange Crush streaks behind. And then, so, a little, like, even before that, I tried out the Hybrid. But the Hybrid's, like, their most expensive blade. But I like it the best. See, they're like, it's just a harder thing to explain, too. It's like, how different really can a squeegee blade be from another one? They can be very different. So once you get familiar with some of them, it's like, yeah. People see, I have a video, people see blue-orange, they think Orange Crush Blue Max. It's not. They should just, on my site, I got a picture of the differences in material. Why did you cut the top edge twice? I just felt like I hacked it up a little bit. As I recall, your shop lease is $2,500. It was $2,400. Now it's $3,400 for the next 5 years because I have bad timing. Decide to tint out of a home garage. That's when the world shuts down. Then I get a notice 4 months in from the city. And then things are going pretty well. So then I look for a place. Found this place. Cool. Decided to play it safe with a 2-year lease. Fast forward 2 years. Time for a lease renewal. The market did this. They hiked it up $1,000. And they're like, well, you can move out if you don't want to. And I'm like, I'm going to look around a little bit. Actually, I just said, yeah, I'll sign the lease. And then, yeah, of course I'm going to look around. And you know what? Everything's the same. And at most, I'd be saving like $400 or $500 a month. Everything has drawbacks. It's noisy. It's farther away. It doesn't have a waiting area. Don't they have a limit on how much that they can increase? I don't know. Maybe should have looked into that before I signed it. But do you know how you solve that problem? You just make more money. Like, so unfortunately it boils down to like, yeah, 24 to 34, that's a big hike, and I was pissed about it. But it's like, okay, at $1,000 more a month, do I have any better options? No. And there we go. So then I signed a longer lease. And then the economy starts coming back down. Let's go. Here's what I'll say. I have a clean parking lot. It's quiet. I don't get any shit from my landlord. If I have a concern, he picks up my phone. And, you know, it just costs more. So to put it in perspective too, if I wanted a nice space, similar size, near the front of a road, a little bit more visible, it would be a minimum of $5,000. So you look, it's like, yeah, it's a big hike from where it was, but this was a deal at 24, and it's still a good price at 34. So that's just the way it is. How do you make the tint stay in the matrix stats? No, I'm going to try and heat these and make them look a little better. So on this one, you can see it's starting to do that little silver here. This is more in line with the back window, though, unfortunately, where it's really, really tight. So I'm going to heat this up and press it out and just try and get them to stick better. With dots, there's only so much that you can do. But I will try and make those look better on the doors. It's unfortunate, but BMW loves to do that. But the rest, I mean, it turned out great, though. So fresh and so clean. Why did I come over here? Oh, yeah, I wanted to grab a roll of tape that I thought was there and is not. Where'd I put that tape? That's not it either. Smart. There's parts of me. There's parts of me that are smart, but I still have my own problems. Timing. I have bad timing. Have you ever tried sanding them? There's something that really scares me about trying to sand down brand new door windows with an exposed edge like this. This would probably cost me more than the tint job just to replace the glass, and they probably would have to wait a while to get the piece of glass. It'll be okay. Clay? No, Clay's not going to fix it. What's going on with that plotter depot over there? So what, the plotter? Like, or the sign? I use that here and there. Mostly for like back windows and quarter windows, that type of stuff. I don't use it on everything. Because you can't get the same edge more often than not with a plotter, but you can still get a really good edge. Hey! Look at that. See that? Let's close it up. And save some of that for later. Film trainer. With the 5, thank you. Cheers to the future. Thanks, man. Looking forward to having you here. We're going to try and break a windshield. As long as Matico is feeling spicy. That'll be fun. Does the smoke ever? No, that's why it's like a quick dissipating fog. Is because there's a number of things that I could have tried to use for the same. I was like, what can I have go off with the super chats? And I have a pretty limited set of options. So fog machines were fun. Use the plotter on the back. Not on this one, no. But I did on the, if you go back to Saturday's video with the RAM, I used that on the back window. Yeah, Matico is, and a few other companies, they have some exterior films. I've never touched one. So I think it'd be fun to try and do something with it. Where'd my squeegee go? There it is. Why did I put it there? That's a dumb spot for it. Doing the windshield? Yes. If you asked me at 10 o'clock, I would say I have some spots available, but then at 11:30, my week is mostly filled up now. It happened pretty quick. So yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with shorter videos, and it would be fun to do something with an exterior film. Trying to figure out the details on the creative, because that's always the challenge. Sometimes I don't figure it out until like after I shoot some of it. But I feel like breaking a windshield would make a good 2-second clip in a TikTok, so I want to make that happen. You know, because that's pretty much all there is time for. It's like, you're gonna show that for probably all the time it deserves? No, just to get a point across. And then move on to the next bit. Let's go. Okay, so maybe you guys can help me with funny things. So like a brick is a pretty good idea to break a windshield, but I feel like a brick is pretty expected. So if there's like a funny thing outside of that to break a windshield that's very like, I don't know. It'd be cool to come up with something different. Not an inside tinner joke, but something that an average person would understand. Spark plug? What? No. I know like this. Why would you break it with the spark? No, like I know the spark plug trick, like the little ceramic can break it and stuff like that, but that's expected. Fire extinguisher. No, it cannot be a tinner joke. Why a spark plug? There's so many votes for spark plug. Okay, so maybe I gotta set this up for you at the beginning. The best that I come up with is windshields are weak, or windshield, God, fuck, I gotta remember what I said. Something along the lines of like windshields have become, windshields are weak and expensive to replace. Good old baseball bat. You could have a disgruntled person come up and like whack it with a baseball bat. That would kind of be funny, because that would set the tone for like, you see an angry person like going up to the car and then they hit the windshield. There could be something there. The other thing is like literally driving it and then we like toss a brick while somebody's in the car driving it. That it's probably also dangerous, but I don't know. Criminals use spark plugs to break into vehicles. Okay. I know that, but at the same time, you could have somebody in like a hood and a mask like creep up to a car and then try and like jab a windshield and bust it. But a windshield's not gonna break in the same way that a door is gonna break. So maybe you could do two, one with a door window and another one with a windshield. Because so two are different videos, I think. But maybe we'll do two of them then. So you got one with the thief going up to the car, who's wearing like a hood and a mask and like breaking that shit really quick. You have that film on the side windows, and then you stop that from happening. That's cool. That's really, really cool. The other one is you're driving, and the whole point to get across was like rock chips. So what's a comically large rock chip? It would be a brick being thrown at like the front of your car. Dude, that door, no joke. The door window one is a better video right now because of that idea. Ooh, I like that. We should do that. Okay, so I know exterior films are put on windshields. Do they ever put them, I know like security films are a thing, but like could you do the same type of film as an exterior film on the doors? You got to break two, one with film and one without. Yeah, that's one reason this is a little bit tricky to do too. So in theory, whatever we break the windshield with, you throw again at the windshield after it's replaced, and then it doesn't do the same thing. Yes, you can. You can put it on the doors. Let's go. All right. So I think one that we need to do is we do it on the doors and we address the smash and grabs. I think that would be super cool. So if you... It won't last long because of the scratches of rolling up and down. Oh, well, that's no fun. Maybe we're expecting too much. Newer cars have laminated. Yeah, but they don't do that on all of them all the time. So a lot of it is for sound, and what you'll see is the front doors have it, but the rear doors don't. I wonder if we still have fog in here. Oh, there's a little fog. I knew. I saved it for later. Dang. These look good. That was fun. All right. I guess we got to do more, though. We got to work on the back here. I mean, for a TikTok video, it would still be fine. But I'm also going to drum up a lot of inquiries for people. Can you do that tint on the outside that protects me from smash and grabs? So Avery Dennison has a security film, and I've heard from one of their reps that it's really popular in the Middle East. They'll do a layer on the outside, and then they'll also do a layer on the inside. We tried the 4mm, and it just was wavy, so I don't think it was something that we could sell here. Oh, why did I do that? But it would be really cool to find something that you could put on the outside that you could use. So, because in some states, in certain areas, they literally will park with their car unlocked, and some people were literally leaving their windows rolled down and pretty much empty, just to say like, hey, I don't have anything of value in here. Stop breaking my windows. Because people are parking and getting their windows busted, and it's way more of an inconvenience and pain in the ass to go get your window replaced than have nothing stolen out of it by just leaving it empty and unlocked. Square footage, 3,400 or 3,300. Rent is 3,400. Sad. Can you PPF a window? There's DynoFlex, which is basically PPF for your windshield. But the softness makes it a little more scratch prone. So yeah, there's a balance between like rigidity and softness, so it would scratch up pretty quick too. How do you know where to put the H-line for the rear windows? So typically it's just in the middle. And I haven't thought about the placement really in a long time. So most of what I do is always just the center. Is it not self-healing? So even with self-healing, with extended scratches, it will start to wear. Door windows get rolled up and down a ton of times. But your paint, I mean, you're doing nice stuff to like keep it, you know, wash mitt's not going to damage it or anything. So in the event that something rubs up and scratch it, for the most part, it'll be pretty minor. But same thing with the, with like if something really bad hits your car and it's PPF, like, I mean, it's still a thick film. And you can have a cart bash a dent into your car with PPF. It's just, you know, but most of the time that's not happening. It's like somebody opens up their door and like dings the side or something. Or it's to especially help with when you're driving and the front of your car doesn't get peppered with stuff off the road. How long does it take you using, how long does that take you using now? Last pretty much question. Oh, how many rolls or how many windows you get out of a roll of this? About 10. Typically, they're about like 3-ish feet across, 3-ish, and a couple feet high. It's a 100-foot roll, so you get about 10. There we go. And then we can put this on the sides too. See, what I'm supposed to do is have everything on both carts, not run around to one side. That's the point. I had a 2011 Impreza, had some trouble on the back, couldn't figure out why. Well, if you're new to tinting, just learning how to do everything takes practice. It's got a carbon fiber roof. It's got bucket seats, but not carbon fiber. Or I don't even know what type of seat. It's got nice seats, but they're not carbon fiber. No. Would a 1,500 square foot shop work, or do you need the extra space? Dude, you'd be great in a 1,000 square foot shop. The only difficult part would be having space for somebody to wait. So some shops will have like maybe a 200 square foot area up front. It just gets a little cramped, but yeah, like small spaces, oh, you can do so much with a small space, and they're cheaper. My goal was to find like 1,000 to 1,500 square foot spot, but they were all taken. This place had a 1,700 square foot space that got leased out from under me, and I'm kind of glad it did, because I like this space way better. So I host classes once a month, and in the November class, we had 10 people, and that I wouldn't have been able to pull that off if I didn't have this much space. Okay. All right, I got a new baggie. It's blue, and I suppose this is probably the best first car to use this on. So Sun Distributing sent me over a brand new thing of dry shrink prep. Thanks for the order, by the way. So, in here, we got a fresh baggie. Smells good. So we're gonna put this in here. We're gonna load it up. So we're gonna use this in place of dryer sheets today. It's always a little interesting for me to get one started. I run an area in my friend's shop. I pay $600 a month, all I need. That's awesome. I wish I had friends like that. Okay, so the biggest thing is you don't need to spray the glass. If you do, just like a light spritz, but it's mostly you just spray the bag and put a thin layer on the window. The problem I got into starting, like when I started out with this, is I used as thick of a layer as what I see on, like as thick of a layer as I do with dryer sheets. This, you don't need a thick layer. You just do it like a thin one. So I like to put a line in the middle, and then I just like go across that. And then to me, this doesn't even look like enough, but it should be enough. That's the part that always throws me off. It's like it looks really light when you're used to dryer sheets, but it should work the same and just great. Have you tried alcohol and ivory soap? No. No, I haven't. I've heard lots of other, so the main thing is to put a waxy layer down. So you can even use car wax and other stuff. Different things work better or worse than other things. So there's a lot of things that you can use to shrink a back window. So I like how quick and easy something like this is. And it's already set up so I don't have to go out of my way to get stuff, because honestly what's been really difficult over the past little while here has been like making lots of recommendations from lots of other places and things. So it's like, hey, what are you using for what are you using to protect the doors? And then send people to Lowe's. What are you using for this? Then you send them to the grocery store for soap. Then what are you using for that? Oh, then you got to go take, it's so many things that if you've been tinting for a while, it's no big deal. If you're brand new to it, there's so many little things, it gets really confusing. But that's awesome that works. I finally remembered to pick up some sandpaper. All I could find is 800 grit, though. I still have to use it. What does it mean when fingers start going through your 8? What? Oh, that should never happen. How many cars do you do a week? Oh, not as many as you might think. I used to tint quite a few cars. So a shop would set up like 4 full cars, so like sides and rears, windshield or 2, and then a couple sets of front doors. That was like, all right, I'm busy. It's Like I'm with 4 cars, I'm rushing through my day. 3 cars, it's pretty good. You know, but they're handling the clients, they're picking the shades, and then they just tell me what it's getting. So then it's a quick in and out. That was a lot easier. Okay. So, couple things. Fingers through your H pattern would just mean that you don't have things locked down right. You don't even need a hard H pattern, but like separate the things so everything that is going this way isn't like you're not over shrinking or doing anything that's going to cause it to like shoot up this way. It's just you do this, you lightly tack it down, and you see all this film is like it's floating here. So all I need to do is heat this up enough to lay down close to the glass. If it starts like spidering out in other ways, you're heating it up way too much. You're just floating some heat on that. And then as it gets closer to the glass, that's what you're looking for. Start to look like little ocean waves headed into a beach. And if you stick to those principles, you can learn how to shrink so fast. And then it's just a matter of speeding up. See these little guys? Then sweep these, see? Little like that beach wave going in. Sweep it in the direction that it would go. And then you're good. If your edge starts lifting, again, make sure this is like just tacked down and leading straight. Same thing with this. I got this little, like, whatever this is. Flatten that back out. Make sure the side edge is flat against the glass. And I'm just shrinking the stuff that's right in here. Do you ever have an instance where your dry shrink prep is too loose? No, if anything, I was putting too much on and then it would be like too sticky. I never learned 100%. Like dry shrink prep wasn't around when I started shrinking. You're gonna get like similar results with the dryer sheet. The difference really is going to be dry shrink prep is like a safe thing to use. Dryer sheets might screw you up over time, but I mean, oh, okay, I'm listening to comments too. So my suggestion for dryer sheets is snuggle or bounce and put a thick layer on. Don't get generic ones. I didn't think there'd be a problem until we bought some Meyer ones. They were horrible. They might be better now. Costco ones were also really sticky. Recommended ones are, for most people, are typically bounce or snuggles. So we sell the snuggles ones, but you can find them in grocery stores too. But that's kind of the idea, is like there's 500 varieties of dryer sheets and things. So like consistency for everybody is important. So when you know how to tint, these things you can make adjustments for because you already know about it. When you're real new to it, it's hard to know exactly what is going to work. So like you could spend money on getting dry shrink prep, have consistency there, become really competent, and then like, oh yeah, I'm going to try like, hey, people are talking about soap and alcohol. Like you know what to look for at that point, and it doesn't matter near as much. But it's always hard to, give all these different suggestions when it, like in theory it should work. And some people really like it, but they've also gotten used to it. and know what they're looking for. Spring Irish works great. Yeah, exactly. I've heard Irish Spring. I've heard Dial or whatever the other one was. Those are just some cheaper soaps. Yeah, some people really like them. I haven't taken the time to mess around with them yet, but it gets it gets exhausting. But yeah, at the end of the day, use what works best for you and whatever is most convenient for you. It's all about just getting the work done. But when you're learning, especially see what's out there and try to stick with some certain things that you know you can rely on. So if you like, hey, I don't really get this two-staging thing, this bottom loading thing is way easier for me, stick with that, get more competent, and once you're more competent, that's when you can really dive into alternatives if you want to. Do whatever is easiest to try and get the job just done in the beginning. That is your biggest hurdle. After that, go nuts, because then you know exactly what you're looking for. So, with so much info out there, you know, it's like, I'm going to try a little bit of this, I'm going to try a little bit of that, I'm going to make my own style. And eventually, you're just running around in circles. So stick to something that works, and then, yeah. Have you used any gasket tools yet? I mean, I got the shank. Have you used any, that's what happened to me. I had such a hard time two-staging, so I switched to bottom loading. Now I can do both, no problem. Exactly. I never knew bottom loading was a thing. I learned from somebody that already knew how to two-stage, and I learned in person. I actually learned in person from like a bunch of people because we couldn't keep any tinters around. But in the very beginning, I learned from somebody that had a very similar process to what I still do today. But in certain areas, it's like, you know, it's I couldn't find a single window tinter that reverse rolled around where I was. Like, nobody did it. And so I took a lot of feedback from the Facebook groups, and I kind of like self-taught with that how to reverse roll. And I've been refining that ever since. But some other people, they're just in an area where like, oh yeah, this guy, he always wet shrinks, or this other guy, all he does is reverse roll. Your method scares me. So no problems there. Yep, I would have put probably just a little bit more on so it stays a little tackier. I found that mimicking you works good for me for now. Makes sense. Heck yeah. I mean, I've spent, what, about 15 years now? working on this way, so I would hope it worked out pretty good. What causes peanuts? I'm surprised so many people ask about that now. In my experience, it's been thicker defroster lines. So Chargers, the newer model Mustangs for a while were doing it. Challengers, Chargers, like if you look at those defroster lines compared to like a car like this, they have much thicker defroster lines. So just like the dots, the tint doesn't just stick to those defroster lines, so it leaves water and there's a little, it like wraps over to the defroster lines and then air seeps in, and then depending on how it's shrunk, will cause a little pocket to balloon. And then your slip solution is still sitting there, keeping that spot from locking down. So what works really well is turning on the defroster lines before turning on the defrosters before you go to like clean and install the tint. That way they get nice and hot. And then everything turns out all beachy. Some people will talk about steel wool and sandpaper. Those are methods I just haven't, like I used to try steel wool for old tint removals. I abandoned steel wool a long time ago because it sheds little bits of steel wool all over the place. And then that gets in the defroster grid. And man, I would clean that window so many times. I would retint it and there'd be a little piece of steel wool stuck in my film. So I got really tired of it. Sandpaper, that's one of those things that I can understand. I want another tinter to be here and do it on like their car or something, and then I'll watch, and then maybe I'll do it after they do it. But you know, you wet sand paint. Doing a really fine wet sand on a defroster grid should be like totally fine. It's just when you say sandpaper and glass, those two things always like, yee. So like covering the door panels, do you need to? In most cases, no. But you're gonna see water dripping all over the panels. If you're in the back of a garage, nobody's gonna care. If you're broadcasting that out to 100 people, there might be a couple people that are like, hey, what the hell, man? You're ruining that car. It's because they just, you know, they don't understand what you do, and they don't feel like their car is being taken care of. That's one reason, especially, I like doing glass aid too as well, because it like even shows the amount of care that goes into the cuts on your glass, rather than having to explain dragging a stainless steel blade over your glass. So you're gonna see me take a lot of extra steps that you don't have to do. Most of that is in the prep. I usually double cut these windows. You know, and I still don't have a good answer why I'm single cutting it, especially being 35, except for the number of times that when I remember I'm holding 5%, And then I can't see my line. So then habits kick in with, you definitely could. You can cut both out at the same time. No problems. Same thing with like shrinking the doors. You could shrink them both together too. Well, like taping the doors, doing all these extra little steps. In a shop, you know, you're trying to squeeze every little bit of time out of the day, mostly because the shop doesn't give you the time to spend on a car. And then because the only thing holding you back between you and making more money is getting more cars out the door. So you're doing enough to make sure that the job turns out well, and then you're trying to get to the next job so you get more money. So there's a lot of shortcuts that you can take to speed up. Mostly it's don't cover the panels, don't tape the seals, be quicker about the way that you clean, double cut, shrink together, Frankenstein the back window. Let things tack up as you're kind of moving along. Shoot. I mean, that's where you get under an hour a car. And even at that, you can make a car look damn good under an hour, but you are hustling. I don't need to do that, so I don't anymore. I have my own shop. I set my own time. I spoil myself. Can you make a video on shrinking both together? So it's gonna look identical to a single snap. It's just gonna have 2 layers of film together. So you put one on top of the other, you shrink them both together, and then you're good. I still do them individually. I don't have a good answer. I just do, out of habit. Sometimes you'd hear like snapping, crackly sounds. That doesn't hurt anything. It's just like the film's sticking and releasing to itself. But yeah, like spray the film, put one on top of each other, squeegee them together, pick it up, and you'd be good. All right, another towel. I'm gonna put another one on the bottom of the seat, and then I'm gonna get a couple of rags for over the speakers. Do the seat covers only work on bucket seats? Yeah, the hoodie ones. Yeah, they just to throw over the headrests. So I'll throw them over the front seats here in a little bit. I also flipped the floor mats upside down. But I don't want to try and screw up my job here. So throwing a towel all the way into the back of that dash there. Just be nice with the speakers here. Got a pretty standard fabric deck back here. It's like you're creating little, I don't know, little fluffies. Not that it's going to get in your tent, but when you're trying to put your film in here, you don't want it to get caught on any of this. And you got to redo it. So if the goal is just to keep the water down. Cover what you need. Keep it flat. And then we should be good. Yeah, it's nice. All right, and I need a couple of tools in here. If the back seats don't come out. Yeah, but then you're closer to that headliner, and it's a coupe, so I already don't have much room. So, you pick and choose. I opt for a little more seat space because I can stretch out my arms better and do that rather than try and like climb on top and then I'm squishing myself too much. I'm not as spry as I used to be. I think I got 3 bulldozers in the other one. I do. I got 3 bulldozers in there. All right. Lay them down and reverse roll. See, I don't like reverse rolling back windows. I'll tell you why. There's just not as much space. See, there's just not as much space here. So I gotta try and like squeeze that. I got about this much space on the way across. And then you're running right into a headliner that comes farther down and the pillar that gets in the way. So I learned how to do things this way. So that's why I've just been better at doing them this way. But I can definitely respect, you'll see, I can definitely respect reverse rolling back windows. Like it's just more controlled and easier for some people. But when you grew up doing this, we'll get there. We'll take off the tool belt. Yeah, I didn't learn any other way till I was like, what? 7, 8, 9 years into tinting. You just don't get much space back here. See, even your hand in between that little towel and that, then you start bumping the towel over. Then you put a GoPro on your head. So other people can have POV perspective of all your problems. We appreciate it, no problem. You guys ever seen the Millennium Falcon do one of its fly-throughs of a tight space? That's what we're gonna do here. We're just gonna straight over, not touch the headliner. Yeah, is it normal for the Glacade clay to stick to the case? Yeah, unfortunately, every clay, when it's sitting, it'll kind of melt down and stick to everything. Best thing that I've found so far has been wrap just a tint liner. So when you're done for the day, just put a piece of tint on it. Don't put it on a rag. Don't leave it in water. It'll stick to everything but tint and a liner. And then just the next day, use another liner. Yeah, like I tried a number of different clays. They all come in like plastic containers. They all stick to the cases. It's not as good of a user experience, unfortunately. But they're really handy to have. The Rag Company just came out with a new kind of in-between where it's a clay sponge. So it's not like the nano skin ones. It's basically like a clay that's been put on like a weave. So I really want to try those out. Then you'd almost have like a scrub-like thing rather than a hunk of clay. All right, couple swipes. Do you prefer the fan tip? If I had to buy one or the other, I would buy the cone tip. But there's a lot of guys that like the fan tip. I like it, but just they're like so comparable. So right now I'm using a cone tip. All right, I don't want to do it any more than that. I'm so jealous of you guys' flexibility. If I sit, my legs start to get cramped up at this point. I remember first time I ever tinted, like you have to force yourself to get used to sitting on back seats backwards. You sit there long enough, your legs will definitely cramp up. As you get older, your legs will cramp up too. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna pick this up. Don't wear skinny jeans while you're working. Okay, this is that trench run right now. Avoids the seats, so keep that roll close together. Get enough room. Step with your right foot forward. Put all your weight on your front foot. Left leg on the seat. Right foot through to the other side. Then you're gonna hold yourself back. Fold back on the tent with your mouth. And look. Look at how that droops down. Headrest. Keep your hands right over. Then start working them to the inside because you got more space. You're not touching the headliner. Then you gotta, well, this is the tricky part. There we go. Put your hands to the center and then just reach far down and pull your tent. Once you get it a few inches down, start putting some film up. It's still not touching anything. Slide that down. Always make sure it's flat at the bottom. It'll hit defroster lines, it'll start to bow. Keep it flat. That'll add structure, so as you push, the whole thing sits as one and it doesn't buckle. Then just put it down far enough to cover the edge. Once you're basically past that edge, now you're free and clear to put the rest of the film up and start checking. So I gotta go down a little bit farther. Gotta scoot this over to the left a little, slide that back. Gotta scoot this over to the right. Check for my gaps. So you can see when you iron out all those little steps, That to me is way easier than trying to roll your film and avoid any dirt while you're unrolling it, because you just don't have a lot of space to unroll it. But I can really appreciate how like methodical a roll is, and we'll do that over on the windshield because I have more space on the windshield. And the windshields are usually bigger, so these back glasses are not as wide. So they're stubby enough to not put creases in my film and still be able to carry it the whole way in. I've tried that a number of times on windshields. It only turns out so well on windshields without somebody else helping you carry it in. So at this point, oh, that's not very helpful. It would be nice to get these headrests out of the way at this point, and then you could kind of like bend them forward while you're still working on it, or once you're clear, because I can only reach so far down with these in the way, and I'm pretty much reaching for a bulldozer. You have to do okay, I want to see somebody do that. Go into the trunk and pop out in the middle. Don't go in through the door. I want to see that. See, that's creative. That would be a funny video. My legs are they're getting cramped. I'll tell you what, this GoPro doesn't help right now. I hate the bulldozer. Don't blame you, but man, it's so helpful. Yeah, handle in the trunk. I know, that means I gotta go out and all the way around. Oh, sometimes they put them right there. Not BMW, not today. All right, so those. Put this back down. It's just stretching. Wow. Okay, so now this is more helpful for me once the film is in position, because now I've got way better access to that, but I don't have as much maneuverability with it. Oh, I know. Stick your feet in there. That's what I do on the Model 3s. So, I get it. Yeah, where's that dozer? Give me that dozer. Bulldozer is awesome. Just gotta learn how to use it. The trick is just release it from the glass every time you pull back on it. And then always get in the habit of flexing it in the glass when you push. That's why it's got that big old handle on it. So here, I'm gonna flip around. This is the longer split. Oh, wait, I can do this, right? Oh, those always come together. Oh. All right. If I must, I must. Put that down. So it's flexing. So always push. And then for me, the bulldozer at an angle is the best. So when you can stuff one hand behind it, one hand supporting from underneath, and sweep up, that's the best. And then if you ever shove it in here, you're flexing it, let go, put it up towards the glass, and then it'll slide back out much easier so it doesn't get caught. All right, now we gotta just pulling it back out. I just made it easier for you. That's the trick. It's an amazing squeegee. Let go of it. Because your natural want to just like, oh, just chill, let go, push it up towards the glass, and it'll almost fall out. That looked painful. Oh yeah, that was not fun. And we hope we don't have to do it twice. Somebody said they're paying to have the glass removed. You know, the right glass guy could absolutely do it with no worries, but it's not realistic. I was trying to think of what car it was. It's like either it got damaged from like a blade or something, but like I was at this one shop and they would have a glass guy come in. He was a mobile glass guy, so to replace if anybody screwed something up, he'd be in there replacing it in the shop. And for whatever reason, a back window, I think it might have gotten scratched. It was at a detailing shop, so I don't quite remember. But I saw this guy. Dude, he made it look so, he's old-timey glass guy. He just went, boom, had it out in like 5 minutes. Yeah. Finding the right guy to pull the glass, that's the hard part. Because you can scrape up a back window and all the paint. Some people slather it with primer to try and cover all their mistakes. All right, so what do we think? I think this thing looks pretty freaking good. Heck yeah. Yeah, this looks nice. I like it. All right, so now we got to stuff ourselves back in for those quarters. Yes, we're doing the windshield. Oh, still not done. Still not done going back in and out. Let me make sure all this is wiped down. What's that? Oh, bubble. There we go. A little extra water there. shipping to Canada ever going to be reasonably priced? Ask the shipping companies that one. Dude, it was especially bad. Especially with all like the logistics problems with what happened over the past couple years. Man, and inflation, it screwed up everything. So, unfortunately, probably not, but sometimes it's terrible. Yeah. I hear even shipping inside Canada is really expensive because everything's so spread out. Kind of depends on what province you're in. I order from the States a lot, but shipping is never as expensive as some distributing. Canon. Like film or tools? Whoa. International, I gotta reset here. International is one of those tricky things, man. Like, negotiate with like FedEx and UPS as best you can. Some companies are just way more set up because they have a lot of infrastructure set up back and forth. Time for a haircut? Yeah, that was gonna be like yesterday. But we did a whole bunch of other stuff yesterday. When you finish Tint, are you going to go for a test drive? Oh, yeah. We that's why we got all the space back here. We're just going to try and do donuts back here. How's your neck? My neck is fine. My legs are cramped. Is certification necessary to get employed by a tinting company? No. Nobody, there's no like recognized certification. So like even if you come here for a class, you're not going to get certified to go tint at a shop. What you are going to do is you get a certificate saying that you took the class and you're going to be far better than you were before you took the class. What were we talking about? Damn it. Unfortunately, we have been burned by USPS too many times. Yeah, UPS is better, and the cost is 100% on whatever UPS wants to give the company. Oh, yeah, we were talking about certifications. Okay, so most tint shops are privately owned. The only thing that is really preventing you from getting a job at a tint shop is just your own skill. So as soon as you can like reasonably tint a car, you could easily get a job at a tint shop. Some will hire and train because they really need people. So if you go in, you're really enthusiastic. You know, I don't see a problem with a lot of shops giving you a shot. It helps if you bought some film and tools and you have some like own experience on your own cars. What a shop is worried about is just, hey, I don't want to pay to train you and then you leave in like a year. Like then I just put a year into training you and what did I get for it other than more competition? But there isn't any type of like, ooh, working at a tint shop. It's all garage work. It's like getting a job at a mechanic shop. It's like, it's not fancy. A lot of them are pretty rough. Some of them are not going to pay you very much. And like I said, many of them are privately owned, so it's like you're just trying to get hired by the owner and show that you're of some type of value. Because you got to always think from like their perspective. If you're going for training, well, getting paid and learning on the job, that's like you're getting a career skill and getting paid for it. So in return, the shop is going to kind of expect like, hey, if I'm going to put all this time into you, either I'm a really nice person or I don't want to teach you if you're going to run away. I was under the impression, sun distributing? No, and that's the thing with a lot of tint companies. Like, there are big companies that own, like, a window tint distribution company and a film line. So, like, you have Saint-Gobain, which is a glass manufacturer. You have Eastman, which is a giant chemical company. But they could lose their window film brands tomorrow, and they'd be fine. Like, it's, as far as their profits go, it's probably like pennies on the dollar in comparison to what they're making. It's like 3M. If 3M didn't sell window film tomorrow, you think they'd be really sad about it? Maybe one division would be sad. Oh, and they do a lot of flat glass, so yeah, their bottom line would be hurt, but dude, they have their hands in so many other things that, like, they'll keep chugging along. So a lot of these, a lot of other companies are not near as big in comparison. But you can still have awesome films because there's only so many places that you can get your films made. Alright, how'd this turn out? Is that on the outside or is that crazy? The skill is evaporating every day. New standard plotters are the new standards. Here's the thing. Like, yeah, to some extent, you don't need as much skill as you did, especially if you're using a plotter. Because you can have it cut. But then you, at the very least, have to take out the bottom seal and drop it into the car. And then you still have to know how to do the back window, which, plotter versus hand cut, a back window is a back window. You still need a lot of skill for it. So what a plotter does is really just make some things more efficient, but you turn around and up your efficiency, so then you can do more cars in a day as well. And to be honest, it's like a market is the market. A lot of people won't want a machine over a person. I would choose a person like Matt, or no, that's unfortunately not true. You can inspire and have some sort of respect, so like people recognize, oh, a person is valuable. But if a robot, like, how many things do you buy that and use in your daily life that is not handmade? But you have no idea because you just go to the store and you buy it. The phone that you made, the computer, all that circuitry couldn't be done without robots. So markets are always Robo stick is the future. Robo stick never cramps. Yeah, exactly. They're largely building cars. You have guys on the assembly line just bolting something on that a robot stitched together. Like, but with that, costs come down, manufacturing goes up, and markets evolve and things change. So you can't ever be biased towards the thing because the market just doesn't care. You have to learn how to adapt because something always comes up in place of something that's taken. You know, this I guess segues right into all this AI talk. Have you guys seen how many creative jobs are essentially getting almost taken over? AI artwork, ChatGPT, like it's nuts to where it's all going. It's heading right for creative. But with that, now you have increased productivity where something that would have taken you days to do or hire out for, now you can do or pay less to do it and then up your game because everybody now has new tools to compete with. And as everybody has new tools to compete with, people discover new and interesting things, scale up. I don't know. Things are really, really interesting. So I always have an issue with creative on YouTube. It's like throwing darts blindly at a board. It's like you can have good instincts, you can try a lot of stuff, and then some things work really well, and for whatever reason, some things don't that you thought would. You try and adjust it. But there's so much short form that I could be grumpy and salty about the way everybody now is on TikTok and ignoring longer form, maybe as like a whole. But there's always certain markets for certain things, and you just got to grow with the times. So these past couple weeks especially, dove really hard into short form, and I've got a lot of videos that are doing really, really well that are preaching the same things that I did on here. It's just trying to be creative about it. There's always a way. So, yes, there's always going to be, just like muscle cars and stuff like that. Like, there's always going to be some respect for a certain way something was done. But as a whole, the easier, more convenient way is always going to win in the long term. So, if I'm hand cutting windows and all of a sudden I can machine cut everything back to back to back and it's just as good as if I hand cut it, I'm going to do that. Then I can do some more cars in a day. I don't know. I can teach more people how to get into it. I'll figure out other stuff. Who knows? Maybe cars will be 100% on-demand subscription-based and nobody will need to do anything aftermarket. I mean, think of all the remote starter jobs that have been replaced over the years. I worked with quite a few people. Worked in stereo shops, worked in remote starter shops. Everything got integrated to OEM, and there's still some need for it, but it's not near as much as getting it through the factory. You know, they just come standard with it. Why not? I don't have a need to go get an aftermarket alarm or radio or stereo. That killed out an entire industry. It still exists, but it's not as strong as what it used to be. Wait until windows are auto-tinting. The biggest problem is state laws. So you have some protection there, but like, I mean, how many trucks and SUVs come with factory tint on the back? That didn't always used to be the case. So we have like a prime example that's already existed for a long time. But what did that do? That also showed people tint on the back. And now you can do the front doors to match. So you had all this, oh, maybe I'm not going to get my whole car tinted, but now I look at my front doors and that's irritating. I want to get that to match the back. Don't forget to put the third brake light. I'll do it. I know. It's sitting there in the middle. I'm going to get started on this windshield, and I'll do it towards the end. Just want to keep an eye on the back window, and I don't feel like putting it up yet. I'm done with being in the back seat for a minute now. I mean, like glass that lets you choose the percentage from the time. Yeah. So you like could turn it to darken it up. Yep. You have a lot of state laws in the way of that right now, but it does exist. There was like an EOS, VW EOS sunroof that did that. There's just not a good aftermarket application, but there are like some actual cars that already do that. None of them will do it on the windshield. Kind of like looking at Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, where you can't put a video on your screen while you're driving. It's like there'll be restrictions on it until there's not, but for a long time now. Like, imagine the day everything is self-driving and maybe all your cars are largely on demand, like a taxi or an Uber, where you just push a button, an automated car comes up to you, and then you never had to own the car. You're not going to pay to have it tinted. It's not your car. So there'll be some uniform factory thing that could get all the glass coated and whatnot, and they're all replaceable and discarded and cheaper for everybody. That could be a future. A lot of companies are pushing towards something like that. That's like Uber's endgame. Just on-demand cars. Monthly subscriptions, on demand. No, there is. I mean, glass that you won't have to buy. It's made in the glass. Yep, there is. It does actually exist. It's just not. It's only in like a couple of cars, and it's not like on the side doors. It was like on a sunroof or something, kind of as like a demo, almost. But that comes with expensive costs. So windshields break, glass has to be replaced. An OEM is not going to want to put a $5,000 window into a car. They're going to want to keep costs low to sell more cars because that feature isn't as needed and or legal. But you definitely have some options out there. Electrochromic dark, yep. Maybe in a few decades. what is that? There's a little... It's a little mark, like glue or something there. I gotta make sure I get off before I go to tint this whole sucker. You can choose how dark it is. Yeah, you can do, I think it was like a turn dial. Might have been a button, so it just self-darkened, but I thought it was a turn dial. I don't know, look up VW like EOS or something. It was on the sunroof. I'm sure Mercedes is messing around with it for like their S-Class. I mean, especially with these EVs that people are paying a lot of money for, that's where you're gonna see that a ton more. I think it's only a matter of time on those, because they're just putting giant glass and lots of futuristic looking features. So they'll just do it as a way to stand out, where you could like dim your whole sunroof. They wouldn't care. But when it cracks, then you get like a 20 grand piece of glass to replace. So it's not gonna be mainstream. Yeah, like the frosted windows in offices. Yeah, that's normal. This is a little different that he's talking about, but hey, cool. Joseph, learned so much from you, retired medically from the military at 28, now 42. Been searching all those years for something I enjoy, and Tint is it. Jumped in with both feet, opened up a shop last year and a home shop. Thanks again. Dude, that's super cool. Thank you so much. How's it going? I think probably pretty decent. Thanks so much for the 20. That's huge. That always means a lot. It's a big reason why I keep doing this channel. I could jump into a number of like meme-y things, but at the end of the day, I like that this channel is actually helpful to people that want to learn a skill. Think it would be the future on more electric cars? Yeah, that's where I see a big bump in that. Electric cars are all about like future features right now. Everybody's trying to like out-screen everybody. Remember when car screens used to be that big in everything? Now they're making them gigantic, and because Tesla did it, so now everybody does it. So it's cool. All right. Oh, I gotta reach all the way up there. Why are you so tall? All right, 70 on the shield. I can see transition windows. Ugh, I could see like transition like the glasses. I gotta make sure that dry. There's just one little corner. I was gonna throw this on. I'm gonna wait a sec. Oh yeah, I was gonna say my glasses are transitioned. Because duh. So I have I've got a roll of film in here too still, I think, unless I put it up somewhere. Oh, I think I put it up on the shelf. But I got another roll of that transition stuff. Just gonna play around with it some more for a video. But it's kind of irritating. So when the sun is shining on your glass, it darkens it up, which is cool. But the film I have changes so rapidly that On this side, it'll be light. On that side, it'll start to darken up. But then you also have little shadows from like mirrors and pillars and stuff. So parts of that window will look like there's a light gap. So it's a little screwy. What do you recommend on Lexan Pro Max with the back window? Like to prep it? You could use anything. Dry shrink prep, dryer sheets, like all of that should work fine. Sun distributing. They have dry shrink prep. That's what we've just put on this one. I want 70 to 5% transition. They're slacking. Yeah, I was honestly surprised at the 70 to 20. But it comes with its own restrictions too, because a windshield blocks UV with the laminate. And if your front doors are laminated, that transition is not going to work. So it'd be useless if I put it on my windshield. But the Blazer front doors are not laminated, so it was a good demo for that. Another use, I want to actually, so I've got 20% factory privacy on the rear windows. I kind of want to put it on the back doors and see if it acts as like a baby shade. You just need to put it on that window. So when the sun comes in, it darkens up. Sun goes away, it lightens up so you can see out of the window. I think that would be a pretty cool, cool use for it. But again, if it's really hot, it stops working. Would architectural film kill plants? I think, because it blocks UV. I don't remember the answer to that one, but I think so. Somebody smarter than me can answer that. How do I get a good shrink? It's hard to shrink it. I mean, I can't. Like, how do I get a good cut with a dull blade? Like, you don't. You get a better blade. So kind of like that. If you're having really hard problems with that film in particular, get a film that's easier to work with is the answer. Or just practice a lot. There isn't like, there's no more magic to it. There's just window tint is a challenge to learn, and you just have to do what it takes to get over those challenges, or you don't do it. There's, I think, more hacks really for door windows, but shrinking a back window, there's really no hacks for it. Same thing with installing it. It's like, what do I do to get a clean tint job? It's like, you can do a couple things, but at the end of the day, you have to practice. That's why it's a skill. That's why you can charge more money. If it was easier, everybody would do it, and you wouldn't make any money doing it. It's like watching all those drop shipping videos on TikTok. Oh my God. Make money from home and you don't even have to ship the products. Everything is some amount of work. There's an easy way to do something. Everybody starts doing it, and then all of a sudden the money that it did make doesn't make as much money anymore. That's why the market is the market. And no one person ever controls the market. Unless they're like BlackRock or like Monsanto or something like that. Then those people kind of do, but they're unique. Unless you have so much money to buy everybody else, there's always going to be a market. I'm interested in the course. Do we get to keep the tint keg and the tools? Hell yeah! That is yours to take home at the end. I wouldn't let you train with good stuff and then leave you with a spray bottle at the end. It's one thing I really like about the class. Like, the class for me is an event. It's fun. It's expensive to come out here and do all that. And at the end of the day, I want you to have good stuff to go out there and use. So, yep, I geared it to make all that stuff come with the class. So, the right tools are not going to make you an amazing tinter, but having better quality everything makes it easier. There's a reason I use what I use. Yep, I give kegs to the students. Yeah, so Sun Distributing is about like 25 minutes away from here. So I always encourage everybody to go out there and like check out all the tools and film and stuff. But they're not far, so we got a little arrangement. I buy a bunch of kegs from them for the class. We go pick them up, so we don't have like a bunch of shipping costs. So like we have a really, really cool thing that if I was somewhere else, I don't think we'd be able to do that. And when I was setting up the kegs, or setting up the, when I was setting up the classes, I kind of went into it. It's like, well, I use a keg all the time. Is there any way that I can kind of like fit this into the classes? I mean, we do more than that. We do dash towels. We do bulldozers. You got like a whole full setup. I think the only thing is like, I'm sorry, you have to go buy your own heat gun. Heat guns are kind of personal preference too. I couldn't squeeze a heat gun into it, but I have like 3 or 4 different kinds, so you get a good idea of what heat gun that you like. Most people end up picking like a Wagner or a Porter cable. But yeah, and GeoShield, they send out a bunch of film. So last class, actually the last couple of classes, they sent out C2 for the classes. Everybody got to destroy a lot of carbon. And then they also sent out like goodie bags and stuff. So yeah, I pull as many strings to try and make them as fun as possible. This is the now $30 Wagner. It used to be like $20. I just saw it at Lowe's the other day for $30. That inflation's kicking in pretty hard, man. Does Geo run any kind of special for their new customers? So they do have 10% off their film for students that attend the class. It's a one-time thing, but they do it for all the students. How much is the class? Class is $1,600 for the 3 days. So when that class happens, whether or not, I mean, in August, I had like 2 people show up for the class. In November, I had 10 people. And I got my younger brother to come out and help out with the class. It's been cool too, because I've seen other classes now step up their game with what they're giving out. See? Competition, man. Makes everything better. I just got annoyed because I heard so many classes were giving away like just some real basic tools and a cheapo belt. Dude, the belt that I give you is like $60. It's fucking good. So yeah, we pull in cars. One of the cars that has always been in here for the classes has been my Blazer. I don't care. Go nuts. I bought that Altima. We have a couple students pulling cars too, like rental cars and whatnot. So yeah, we have a lot of different options and scenarios. Most of it is going to be grinding out the same types of windows over and over, because that's how you really learn how to get faster. And you can do this with your own car. But yeah, it's the things that are most helpful is you get that immediate feedback on what you're messing up and how to adjust it. Because there's all these little mistakes that you're making. And just that little, like, what's okay, what's not okay, that little course correction, oh my God, that goes such a long way so fast. The craziest is having people here that have never touched film before. By like their end of the second day, they like shrink a windshield, and I'm just like standing there dumbfounded, like, how many days have you been doing this? And they're like, 2. That's the best. It's like, get the fuck out of here. It's just looking for the right things. Like, you see how easy it can look in the videos and on the streams and everything? No, it doesn't matter how long you've been doing it. Anybody can make it look that easy. It's just you got to be looking at the right things. So I try and explain what you need to be looking for all the time. But people don't tend to see exactly what I see. And that's why something like the class is really, really helpful. But yeah, some of the differences that I show too is like a couple different tools, like the stroke doctor versus the side swipe. You know, you get to actually see the difference between the two. It's also why it's really nice that Sun Distributing is right up the road, because they have all the tools. So you can literally, like, you can walk in there, they've got a whole tool room, you can physically touch all the tools and like, oh, I see it. I thought it was completely different online. But you get to like kind of play around with everything. It's nice. And here you get to like whatever you want to sample. You know, if I don't have it and you don't ask me on the third day, you ask me on the second day, I'll make sure we get it. I have a lot of extra stuff though. But most people are just, oh shit, what's the high? Oh, this is way better than the squeegee I was using. I get a lot of those reactions. Oh yeah, and while we're talking about it, I've had quite a few people fly in from out of state too. So like the kegs are big. You don't have to take them home. We'll pay to have them shipped back to you. It's all good. Same thing for your tools. You can bring with whatever you can fit in your luggage, and then we'll ship back the rest. There's good solutions to every problem. Oh yeah. What do I need? Got that towel there. I just throw everything everywhere. Funny you should say it like that. I must be illiterate because I can't read film. This goes back to when I was learning. The guy, like I learned from a really good installer But I only got to learn for so long, and I worked with like a lot of crappy people. And there's this one guy that was like, man, if I could give you a book so you could learn how to read the film. And it's like, it's exactly like that. You're looking for patterns. You're looking to identify exactly what that film should look like as you're pressing it down. And when film starts to look a certain way, that's when you know you can press it down or you should redirect it. And I point that out all the time. It's like heat it a little more, a little more, a little more, press it down. Heat it a little more, a little more, a little more, press it down. Nope, not enough. Or, oops, too much, it's too tight. Here's some more film, start over. Or work on that corner up there. Because you can mess up a back window pretty bad before you have to throw a new piece. But, dude, we got film. We got plenty of film. Make mistakes. That's what the class is here for. Yep, just comes with time. Yep, like 2 days worth of time and you'll get it. It's not hard if you're looking at the right things. I should get a push stick for this, huh? Yeah, it's a little tight. Is that a guarantee? I can't ever guarantee it because everybody's going to be a little bit different. I am shocked at how many people have come away shrinking in a couple days. I didn't say any of that, especially at the beginning of the year. I was always skeptical on classes, but because in my head, I've got so much content on the channel, like you should be able to learn this on the channel. But I basically, with doing so many classes this past year, I taught myself how to teach people better because I was explaining things differently. That's where that whole, like, make it look like an ocean wave thing came from. It's like I'm trying to think of things that I could say that kind of connect and causes people to identify patterns, look at things slightly differently, or I just overlook things. How much do you spend on tools for all the classes? Retail on all of it is like over $600. So, thankfully, with little relationships here with Sun Distributing, with Geo, I don't have to pay that much. But it's over $600 retail. I pull strings, and I put a lot into it. I started out with, all right, how many things can I give away? That's how my classes last year started. And then you run your first one, and then you look at the bottom line at the end of it, and you're like, all right, how can I improve this a little bit? But if anything, we've given more stuff away the farther we go because companies like seeing all the stuff and like their names being talked about and whatnot. So that's why a lot of that works, right? They want to advertise. That's just like how it is. So introducing tools and stuff to new people for them, like, yeah, they want to help teach people. So it works out. You guys at the end, like that to me is a win-win-win for everybody. Full set of race tech not included in the classes, if only. YouTube live stream headset. Can't do that one. GoPro's never sent me a GoPro. But at this point, I've probably sold a lot of them. All right, top to the other side. Those seats, those are bucketed back. And this dash, it's got a fair amount of space, but it definitely slims out towards the dashboard. So it makes it a little tricky to see up here. Do you clean your keg when it's empty? I'll let it sit, but whenever I go to fill it back up, that's when I spend the time to clean it out. Ooh, that is definitely tighter. Yes, it is a little bit more comfortable, and that's why I reverse rolled these instead of the back windows. There's just, the dash comes out this way, the windshield goes up that way, and on the rear window, it's always a little bit more where you have the seat straight across along with, so there's a little bit more like farther reaching down. This is still like with the way that the seats fall back and everything, I can try and fix them a little bit, but they're like pretty lean back right now. So just, this is tighter. What's your cleaning procedure? We are going through it right now. So it's got a couple stickers. So I'm going to remove that with a blade. Where I have one sticker and some adhesive. So there's a little suction cup here too, or was. So this is going to come off here. The main thing is first make sure nothing is stuck to the glass. And that's really hard to do with a scrub pad. So I'll wipe my hand over it and give it like a visual inspection, but especially clean it with a blade. For the keg, the keg I will scrub out with like a scrub pad. I'll reach my hand in there, but getting some type of like long scrubby wand would be smart. Like honestly, a baby bottle scrubber or something that you could reach down farther in there. Maybe even like a wheel. You know, like those cool wheel scrubber thingies? Like rim brushes. That would probably be smart to get one of those. But I can reach my hand down there with a scrub pad, and I scrub out the inside. They also have like a pipe cleaner if you want to take out the dip tube and do that. That'd probably be a smart thing to do every once in a while. Okay, what tools do I actually need to do this? I'm gonna grab this. I'm gonna grab this. And then I'm going to grab, that one's in there too, so that should be pretty good. Oh yeah, dots. Those are nicely laminated. Yes, they are. Nice bonus, so this windshield will turn out a little bit cleaner. Back window does not have the same bonus, but inspection stickers. Yeah, I didn't even know what an inspection sticker was for a long time. And I was really wondering about the squares that people cut. And then one of my students explained that to me. I guess some are paper. So then they just basically dissolve while you're tinting a windshield. Yikes. Oh, so do they charge you guys for yearly inspections too? Because all we have to pay for is registration. But our registration is like 150 to 250-ish in fees every year on your birthday. It's like, happy birthday. Re-register your vehicle. We don't need to look at it. So I always wondered, after hearing that, how much you guys have to pay for, like, yearly registrations. There's that. See. My registration is $800 in California. What? It's $800 a year to register your vehicle? It's basically like a monthly payment on a new vehicle. A nice one every year. Okay, real talk. I don't know how people in California do it in California. Because then they take like 50% income taxes. California is highway robbery. That's why so many companies are moving to Texas. Texas will probably be good for a time. Yeah, that's crazy. My wife's Escalade, $1,000. Holy shit. Silverado, $500. Oh my God. You guys are getting killed out there. That's brutal. Paying to drive in that beautiful weather. Yep. I mean, our wintertime weather is nothing to write home about. It's not fun outside. It's a little nicer today, though, I think. But, like, nicer today means, like, 50 or 40. It means not being frozen when you walk outside. Oh, yeah. Okay, the fires is, like, a huge one. It's just like, oh, yeah, just going into work and my state's on fire. And California has cheap tint prices. From what I've learned, everywhere has cheap tint prices. It's just how hard do people want to shoot themselves in the foot? Because we have people that'll do tint for like $100 or less. You know, whatever people figure out that they can, oh, yeah, I can make some money doing that. You know, it's like getting a bunch of people to do Uber. It's like they're not winning on that deal. but they're not smart enough to think about their vehicle costs and all their other expenses. It's just like they see, I need to make money. This is basically free money by driving around a car that I would drive around anyways, and it's not. But you know, you can't do anything to change that. You can only better educate, and only so many people listen. Sweet. Let's go to the other side. I'm in a Turo group. I don't do Turo, but like it's like watching a train wreck. It's really hard to look away. Man, some of the stories are just so funny and brutal. Like people stealing vehicles, people renting a car for a day and driving like 3,000 miles in it. Like, how is that even humanly possible? I don't know. People renting vehicles and literally to like strip them down and sell them for parts. It's just like the sheer number of crazy stories that I see every day is nuts. But a lot of people there are not business type owners. They're like, yeah, I thought I could make some money doing Turo. How do I do this? And they're attracting so many people like that because it's easy to sign up. You just rent out the car you already own. And then people try and turn it into a business and then realize there's a lot of competition, and it's actually, you have to think. Doing a full windshield. Doing a 2019 Ram full windshield vehicle with a windshield, 9-inch lift. I hate it. Oh, that's a lot of up down. Oh yeah, you're getting your workout today. Do you cut the tint? So all the rolls on 313tint.com, those are all like ordered to size. So it would be the same price if you order if you order like a 60 and you want it cut down. Just order what the sizes that you would cut it down, because it's already boxed and ready to go. You're not going to save any more money on it. Just order the sizes that you need. It's not going to cost you any more. Is the flat glass training by Geo for experienced people only? No, and from what I understand, they're setting it up primarily as sales training. It's not for experienced, and I would just register if you're even interested in going, because like spots fill up. It's free for anybody to go, whether or not you're like with Geo or not. You can just go. They want to just educate a lot of people about flat glass, because the trick with flat glass is mostly an education thing, not a skill thing. There's definitely skill to it, not near as much as automotive. So I'm not a flat glass person, and I'm going down there to help them out with the event and everything. And they're like putting me on meters. So I gotta learn about all the meters before I go. I should probably follow up with them about that. But I don't know, should be a good time. A lot of companies are pretty excited from being at Tinter Battles, so it's cool to see them throw this whole event together. The event is going to be in New Orleans, so I gotta leave my cave to go down there. This is why I say also, like, pay attention to the Facebook groups, because when they make announcements, they made the announcement, like, on Facebook, so it's their event, and I'm gonna be there, and, you know, unfortunately, I think I gotta work a little bit with with meter education or something. I don't know. I'll find out, but it should be a good time. I'm not flat glass, but I see the opportunity there for sure. I talked about it on like another stream not too long ago. Like they caught me interested in it at a good time, which is like uncanny. In the Philippines, I did a lot of flat glass research. And there's just like, yeah, there's a lot of opportunity there for people. We all got our heads stuck in automotive, so we got to learn how to like shrink and do all this stuff. But my, I want to tint my house. And then I started looking into that and what was available for that. So I started learning about flat glass films, what is the differences. Then you start learning about like low E coatings. So it's not very complicated, but there are some things to know, and there's some good tools that you can get for the job. And I think most people probably suffer from just like, I don't know where to get started. I'm at my shop. So it's like ways of getting into the business, good selling practice. Because Burns from Geo, he was flat glass. Like, that's where he came from. He wasn't an auto guy. He was a flat glass guy. Are you going to tint the windows on your home? Oh, yeah, 100%. With what and when? Not entirely sure, and hopefully before it gets hot. LOL, good plan. Hell yeah, let's go. I feel like that's the same plan most people have when they start their own tint business. I don't know, I'm just starting a tint business. LOL, good plan. When you got your shop, did you care about location and competition? Yes, but I didn't value location as much as area. It was more about proximity to where I currently was, because my biggest problem was I didn't want to even drive to a shop. I wanted to stay at home. So I was dealing with that. So, and then also price. One thing I was conscious about was, yeah, where other shops are located. I mean, other people are only gonna, like, a good shop and a good space is a good space, and largely, like, people probably just aren't gonna care. a ton. So, like, if you get a guy that literally, like, opens up next to you, hopefully, like, your landlord would be like, hey, dude, I don't want to piss off my current tenant, so I can't rent it to you. So, I would maybe be a little concerned with that, but... Oh, I should have done this. Boys, we were having a bad day. Ah, so close. I should have done that first. Towels, man, on a tight deck lid. So we got a pretty bad crease right here. It just folded into the towel. And I should have made sure that towel was pressed in a little bit more. I tried to. Turned out this would have been better for the job. So that can't stay. So I got to redo this. So fear not, if you miss the install, you get to see it again. I'm sad. The rest of it turned out really good. Let's go. The only thing that ruined it was trying to keep it safer. Yeah, well, now it's super clean. I know it. You have an employee now? Yeah. His name is Jack. He helps with all the orders. So keep him busy. Yeah, he's been here since July. So he helps with doing all the orders and filming. He's gotten really good at putting the camera where it needs to go. It's okay. It's part of it. Every once in a while it happens. Yeah, the tools, the store altogether is going well, thankfully. I knew I needed help. Like midway, like getting into last year. And then it was kind of like we planned a trip, and it's like, well, I definitely need somebody when I'm on vacation to make sure all the orders. He was spoiled while we were gone. He got to just use the shop however he wanted while we were gone. Just make sure the orders are done. Answer some phone calls. And that's about it. If you got something else to do, we just paid him flat rate on hours. Because, hey, man. Go nuts. No. I like the way you reorganized. Yeah, so we've moved the wall. We just pushed it back, and we're using that all as a display in inventory. Kind of open it back up, move the computer over here. Thanks for that battery check. I'll probably have to replace it here in a minute. This is probably the worst part about having to redo a windshield is like if you clean everything off and then have to like re-prep it all, this just takes an annoying amount of time instead of just like throwing it back over a dryer sheet and doing it again, starting over from scratch. Like, so I like to pull the glass aid off. You could leave it on, do the windshield and everything, and then make sure that your windshield turns out good, and then remove it. Then your downtime, or your time to get back to where you were, is way less. Oh, no, I screwed it up. This is like the fluffier sun distributing towel. and it's really tight here. And so sometimes I'm a little lax with how far down into the dash I push like a towel. And it was past the edge, and I had film just go too far down, and you got the gauges and all that in the way. So it was like the last little stretch to push out. And unfortunately, I creased it before I knew it. This is the one that has a rubber seal at the bottom? I guess so. Because that just royally screwed me up. Oh, no, this. How'd the storage room turn out? Oh, it's decent. It currently has like a whole lot of stuff in it. We packed it. We packed it pretty heavy. So one thing that you'll notice I'm really bad at is always putting things away and reorganizing and stuff. Especially when I need a bunch of rolls for like the class. I just grab things for the jobs that I'm doing, and then we film a bunch of TikTok videos, and then I take off. I was starting to clean everything up this morning, though. So. So we can let that sit for a sec. I guess do a battery check, huh? And look, this one's plugged in. Yes. Good. Canon. What the fuck? It's... Okay, I thought it was like maybe 1 o'clock. I didn't know it was 3. Okay, let me, Yep, all the stuff that was back there pretty much got thrown into the back room. We got everything, everything situated back there, and then I go to dig something out, and then I screw it up again. So that's been fun. It's 1:40. I'm jealous. You guys have an hour of extra time right now. I spent way too much time starting this morning. This massive RAM, I'm stripping it and redoing everything. Oh, that makes it like way bad. I didn't know that part. What are the gray items on my shelves? Which ones? Like back there? These ones? Oh, those are the seal guard rolls. Oops, this one. Yeah, those are bins full of seal guard. They're like one of the few items that actually takes up a lot of space. Where like this bin here, that's all shanks. It's like probably 3,000 shanks in that bin. when you see the number on paper, you're like, wow, that's a lot. And then you throw them in a bin, and you're like, that's not a lot. All right, let's try this now. Good, good. Can you walk over? Okay, real quick before I get started, we will go to the tool wall. Oh, dang, that's Tint Depot's order too, right? Whoa! You got like 500 rolls in there?
Yep.
Holy shit. Yeah, Tint Depot just ordered like 500 rolls of glassade, so they'll be all set for a while. Yeah, these are all the tools here. I really like the bins. I found these at Costco. Just easy way to do inventory, and kind of wanted to make it as much of a display as possible too. So yeah, like seriously, those are all shanks. These are our rounded felt cards. These are the rectangle ones. We just got those back in stock. This is a bucket of green tri-edges. We got more, and then just like blades, handles, and just all the stuff you see in the store. Most stuff only takes up one bin. Yeah, over the winter time, like late winter into the new year, I ordered a whole bunch of inventory. That was fun. Oh yeah, there's already a towel there. So I think we should be good with throwing this across again and starting over. I'll tell you. Tools is definitely a tough thing. So here's the thing. The idea here is like, oh, hey, you buy a bunch of tools, you sell a bunch of tools. Those tools then make money for you to rebuy tools. The hard part is scaling that. So like when you rebuy tools, you have to buy more than what you bought initially. And then you have the time spent with it sitting on the shelf, and then having to pack and ship it. So when you're like, yay, I made money on tools, then you flip right around and go, I need like 3 times as much money to order tools. Scaling is and you got to do that with like each individual tool. It's kind of brutal. Sounds like a big deal to carry tools for convenience to others. Yeah, just the whole thing. There's just always more to it than what's at face value, which is really like it's fun to kind of talk about, because I just enjoy like all types of different businesses and how they run, and like things that you wouldn't think about until you actually do them. That has been like a real awakener. Because when you want to, okay, so for example, you have a product. One thing that is going to be coming here soon is something called the rack. And it is this really innovative modular film mounting system. And you'll see when we get it. You might have seen some pictures in the Facebook group. It's such a simple, clever idea. Really, really smart. So we're going to put it on that wall. I'm not going to be selling it. Sun Distributing is going to be selling it. But the guy that made it is like 3D printing all the parts right now. And it's like, it's one thing to 3D print for you, and like if you had like 5 or 6 people order it. But then all of a sudden, if you have like an entire industry get interested, well, then it's like, oh, we'll just go to a manufacturer. Well, then you have to get molds made. And then you have to like guesstimate your demand. And you could partner with a manufacturer that just does a crap job, and then you have to start over again. And you're talking about like injection molded molds. And then you got the size of the product, and you got what people will pay for it. So many little things that come into play that are just like, yeah, just go get it made, whatever. No, there's so much behind the scenes just to make something like that look easy to sell and ship. What a buzzkill. What happened? Did it not turn out good? Yeah. Yeah, the towel got in the way, and then I creased it because there's just too much film going down there, I think. It was a big buzzkill. Matt's always calm and collected. Yeah, no. You've never worked with me before. I was live streaming. I would yell and scream and be grumpy all day. Especially over little inconveniences, too. It's what happens when you really don't enjoy what you do. But now things are chill. So, like, mistakes when they happen, they're really, like, yeah, it's a full windshield and we got to go back and do it. But it's not like I'm stressed out with 3 more cars that I got to get to today. So, it's a lot easier to handle things now than it used to be. It's a big difference between, like, setting things up so you enjoy doing it. But I still, like, there were days still that, like, I'd book too much, or I'd get stressed out over, like, you know, especially the things that, if I have a windshield that once doesn't go well, that's one thing. If it doesn't go well, like, 5 times in a row, oh, I'm not going to be happy. Just ask Sun Distributing. Ask how happy I was when I worked with them. Versus now. Because I used to tint for their tint company. Like, that's also what's funny about all this. Is like Sun Distributing wasn't a distributor until like I started tinting with them. And then they kind of just like fell into being a distributor. And now fast forward a handful of years, we're working together in other ways now, which is cool. And they still have a tint shop over there. out in Waterford. I tried the ATR glue remover. Works amazing. Good recommendation. Doesn't smell bad. Like the awesome. That's interesting. No, that's awesome. That's awesome. No, I'm glad. You like it. Yeah, ATR's been really consistent. I always thought the adhesive. It's kind of like I thought it smelled similar, but probably you're right. Not as strong. But good. Glad it worked out. Yeah, I've always really liked ATR. I've used some really bad adhesive removers. Rapid Remover was one of them. It's just there's something about window tint adhesive that a lot of adhesive removers just don't agree with. But yeah, for me, what made, like, I don't know, I've been able to strike a happy balance between tinting, video, and like personal free time. Because with anything, I think when you make it your full time, like if you enjoy doing something and now it's your job, I think any amount of repetitiveness starts to add up, and you start to notice all the inconveniences way more. And you can optimize them to some extent, but when it's what you do day in and day out, I think everything gets tiresome. Especially when what you do is just looking for a paycheck. But it's just can be how it is for some. All right, let's pull this. Do you have a tutorial of how to do this? Because I messed it up on my cars a lot. Oh yeah, a bunch of them. Yeah, just look at the channel or my TikTok. Yeah, a lot of them. Or the Facebook group. Northern Nevada, what's up? How is it 3? That's what's crazy to me. Out of everything today. Every time I put on this headset, I go into like a time portal. Seconds turn into like schmeckens. How many views is the Walmart? On TikTok, it's about like 4 million. On Facebook, it just hit like 600 or 700,000, which is pretty nuts. But all of them that I've made lately have done really well on TikTok. TikTok's very consistent. I like TikTok a lot. There's a lot less guesswork that I have to do on TikTok, where Facebook's kind of in between. YouTube YouTube is tough. It's like YouTube is like throwing darts blindly, and the only way you win is when you hit the bullseye right now. And so it's true. A bad video won't get shown. A good video will, with the asterisk. If you make that thumbnail so interesting along with the title, and if you get it wrong, nobody's going to watch your video. That's YouTube. TikTok is auto-played, so you need to focus on the beginning of your video. 100%. If the beginning of your TikTok is you looking at a camera, talking, people are going to skip it. So it's been really fun to see the differences. Facebook is still that whole same idea TikTok is. Like, so if you're posting a reel has a similar amount of chance blowing up on Facebook Reels as it does TikTok. But I think there's a little bit more algorithm choosing on Facebook than there is TikTok. Oh yeah, none of it's making money. I don't even know if I'm monetizing any. I don't think I'm monetizing anything on TikTok. No, it's just about making good stuff that hits a broad audience. That's my goal on TikTok. It's my my creative viral my creative viral itch. That sounds terrible, but it's true. It's like I have a pretty good instinct for what makes a good video, and it's brainstorming to death how to integrate that with what I do. Yep. It's really about just pure exposure. And it's really interesting. I've slept on, so I made the short TikTok videos for a little while. They were no longer than 7 to 12 seconds long. They were only the TikTok voice. And then I noticed that you could make a minute video. I think it can be a little longer than a minute, but not much longer than a minute, and you still have a similar chance. And so my goal then is to take things that I've done and repackage them in a way that they're friendly to watch in short form. So when we did the Walmart door window, I didn't even know if we could make it under a minute. That was the goal, though. I'm like, I don't know if this is possible. But we're going to try and do it. And we spent 2 days doing it. But then you learn a lot from that. Nowadays, what a lot of people value is they can fill in a lot of the blanks or be left with some questions. Just keep it snappy to the point and don't over-explain things. You need to get out of the way of showing what you're doing. And the more you can do that, the better your video is going to do. Unfortunately, nobody cares about your personality. Nobody cares about, very few. Very few people, unless you're just that guy, very few people care about your personality. Very few people care about really any sort of personal opinion about what you're doing if it's you demonstrating how to do something. So get out of the way, make it as interesting as possible, make it as snappy, and don't over-explain, and just start by getting straight to the point. Those are the TikTok rules. You stick to that, and you'll have a pretty good chance of your video blowing up, and you don't need followers. Followers are like kind of pointless. They don't mean they'll watch your video. Just means they appreciated maybe more than one video that you made. That's about it. It's kind of interesting. Just like, it goes straight back to what we were talking about with like hand cutting versus machine cutting. It's like, people just want a good job. The market is the market. Market chooses. Don't argue with it. Just adapt. Good luck with this install. Thank you. I'm nervous. All right, let's do it. I guess TikTok is just like movie trailers to me. It's like saying you watched the movie. Yeah. No, it is. It's very true. It's so snappy, and there's not much depth to it. So there, like, I go on YouTube still for lots of videos and podcasts. I've definitely spent more time on TikTok than I thought I would at a time. Anytime I open it up. But it's like there's a stronger audience for getting introduced to content that way. And then my hot take is there's 100% still, like, YouTube is still king. But you just can't compete in long form with that many snappy short forms. So you can't make as many long videos as you can, like, short videos. Like, there'll always be more short videos available. So it's like, it's just different tastes, and it's a real, like, there's just, especially with the younger crowd, they're growing up on it. So it's just kind of like evolving with the times too, in that there's still a need for, like, these live streams on YouTube. There's still a need for videos on YouTube. There's still a need and strong demand for educational short form that teach you about something that you may not have known of, or be able to, like, introduce you to a concept, and then you can do your own research and learn more about it as you go. So that's kind of how, like, you know, I was pretty blown away when I figured out the whole live streaming thing. Like, because this was not a thing. Nobody was putting a GoPro on their head, doing full tint jobs start to finish. Like, that was all new. Now we're seeing more people understanding the format. It's, you know, they got skills to do it. Other people are doing it. That's awesome. There's just a niche for it. So same thing with the TikTok stuff. It's like, I'm cool that I've kind of found my place in short form. If you're using TikTok to steer traffic to YouTube or your store. It makes sense. Yeah, so a big part of that is going to be the store. And also I have a tint business, so I'm getting clients off of it. One of the most popular comments of the Walmart one is like, yeah, there's too many steps. I'm just going to pay somebody to do it. Great. Here I am. So it's cool. It's cool all around. So there's always like parts of these things that I don't know exactly where they're going to lead to. But one thing I noticed also on TikTok is there's a lot more ability to reply to people in videos that are still going to be, that still could be shared, not to the same scale. But I just made another one. I'm going to post videos on it soon. That's strictly going to be for reaching out and helping more people. So if you are screwing up a back window, make a TikTok, tag me, and I'll be able to make a response video. That's kind of like the general idea of it. I do a lot of that on Facebook, but a lot of people tell me that they don't use Facebook. So we're just going to be trying a lot of different stuff coming up here that leans into, all right, what can we do in the TikTok sphere that is really helpful? There's people on YouTube, there's people on Facebook, there's people on TikTok, and you're not going to be able to hit everybody in one way. It's about rethinking everything that you're doing to reach a different type of audience in a different way. But yeah, live streams still definitely major part of it. Ugh. I think it'd be really fun to do a TikTok training too. Like you guys see the full car start to finish. But I think we're gonna do if I've got a day free this week, I think I'm gonna go live on TikTok. And I'm just gonna do like back window over and over and see what that does. Literally like a back window shrinking boot camp type thing. I'm gonna make Jack hold the camera for probably about an hour or two, and then we'll just keep doing that, taking questions. Maybe we'll do a door and a back window. Maybe we'll do both. I don't know. But stuff like that, I think would be really fun. All right, this went better. Came out better. I think this one might have gone better than the last one. Just because the towel was more out of the way, though. I gotta do that. Every time I don't do that, I harder to remind myself that I need to. Why wouldn't you put it on YouTube as well? So, I don't have a great answer. If we can do both, we will. But sometimes I've tried to at least like dual stream to TikTok and YouTube. And like last time, no, the time before that, I was trying to do a test with Facebook and vertical and YouTube and horizontal. Most of it has to do with just camera orientation. You have to be vertical on TikTok. Same thing with Facebook. Like Facebook is best when it's vertical. YouTube, I think you might be able to be vertical on YouTube, but YouTube only allows up to like a 3:4 ratio. So like that's really like the main reason. So in theory, I could potentially do YouTube on my headset and then have him hold the phone for TikTok. But the other thing is I don't have the same chat features on TikTok as I do on YouTube. So I can hear everybody commenting. On TikTok, I have to read it or I have to be read it. And I think if you don't pay attention to the audience there, you have to be there to respond to both. And since I'm like actively walking around a car, it's harder to pay attention to those comments. So I think responding to people is hugely important, and I don't want to split up my attention too much between both unless I could find some way to integrate them both together. I watch on my TV, so I hate, yeah, exactly. That's been like the biggest hurdle in integrating both of them. So I can make a TikTok, and that TikTok can be shared on Shorts, on Reels, and obviously on TikTok. But what I can't do is make a YouTube video and then share that on TikTok, on Facebook, and Shorts in the same way without like hard cropping in and some fancy editing and whatnot. So I was trying to make a YouTube video that handled both, but honestly, I seem to have a better luck. Just, it doesn't take, once we go through like a YouTube video, once we go through like a dedicated YouTube video, I can kind of pick out the part I want to make into a short, and then we refilm it as a dedicated short now. And so that helps the creative process, at least for like the short form. But no matter how you cut it up, it's a lot of mental. But once you see it, it's like, oh yeah, that was simple. But then like I spent like 4 days nonstop thinking about even like how to do it, let alone doing it. Nice. Oh, good. That's not bubbles. That's water smears. How did you add the extension to your steamer? So I had a broken steamer, and then I turned on the working steamer, and then I merged them together. So it just kind of worked out. This was a $60 steamer from Walmart, and then I took off the end. See this plastic bit? I took off the end of, oh no, I disassembled a whole hose. So this is the Jiffy steamer. It comes with like both a metal steam blade or a plastic end, and I hate both of them. I hate that metal steam blade. That thing's so annoying. For me, what works better is just a rubber end, and you can shove that behind a third brake light and everywhere else. The metal just like bumps up against your glass. It hurts when you touch it. I hate it. So I was trying to figure out, so I took that hose apart, and then this one was laying around from the other steamer, so I merged them together. A little bit of water. Just so I have room to like push up to that edge. I don't want to go too far though, or else we're gonna be sick. This windshield looks freaking amazing. I am so happy. I was gonna have to try and peel this back the first time. There was like a small little thing up here, like real small, but there's nothing on this one. Just a little touch up on that side. This is probably just a little bit wider, pushed over to the side. Oh, this looks so good. The last video done was seeing a door window. It's very detailed. Yeah, that one was good. Yep, that's why I did it too. So on most cars, you can just leave the steamer sitting on one side of the car, and then you don't have to drag the steamer around the car. You just bring the hose farther over. Moving the steamer around is obnoxious. Kind of like a vacuum cleaner. Like if you can just have an infinity hose that goes around the entire car, that's way nicer than having to like constantly move your vacuum. You know, it gets hung up. Like you have enough hoses. You have the cord that plugs into the wall. You have the hose. Then you usually have something sitting in the way. It's just not fun. I like that mounted on a wall vacuum thing. That's pretty cool. This looks so good. Oh, I like it. This looks like nothing's even on there. That's the point. All right, so I'll let that settle. And then I know I got a brake light in the way. But I think before I dive back in there, I'm gonna end just because I'm spent. I need to get back to some stuff. But yeah. Ugh, Canon. Oh my God. Old man. Am I that? Have I hit that level? Do some stretches. Dude, I gotta put a closet together. We did that on like Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We did one side. So like we have wire racks in our closet and we're doing like a hanging like IKEA system. Nothing crazy, but it is a lot of like putting drawers and measuring and making sure that it's in the right spot and everything. It's a lot of tedious putting together. So I gotta go do that after this. We just had a whole set drop off for the other side, and we ordered the longer side. So yay! We gotta go take that back. Fun. Alrighty. But this thing is basically all set right now. I just have a couple small things to do. You need one of those neck heat pads. Yeah, I just need a whole... No, this is day in and day out work. You just tough it out. It's fine. It's a BMW coupe. It's just, you know, I'm spent right now. Assembling like the first 2 shelves is fine, and then you get like 12 into it, and you're like, big props to my wife. She's been doing a lot of that. Any promo codes for the website? No, but if you, some of the tools are discounted if you order more of them. That's been the best way of handling stuff like that. Because there's, plus free shipping over 50, it gets really difficult to like, they're already priced pretty competitively. So to give more money off is like, I don't want to give a bad experience with the store. That's what pays, like, Jack to be able to get your order fast. Have you looked at any of the Lowe's wire shoveling? Yeah, I'm pretty sure, like, that's what we kind of took out. So it just had, like, wire rack, and we wanted some better looking stuff and just something that's way more functional, too. Stream elements. Alrighty. So we're going to shout out some supers. Oops. That one. Alrighty. So big thank you. Oh yeah, LKB. Thank you so much for the 2, by the way. Old man. I appreciate that. Joseph, thank you for the 20. Film trainer. Hans, thank all you guys for the support today. I really appreciate it. Hope you guys enjoyed and learned something on this one. I will see you in the next one. We'll have another live stream here soon, this week. Not tomorrow, but soon. Bye.